Hello. Um, I would like to talk again and to sort of take a different perspective about speaking about um, the reality channel, reality TV star. I'm saying that like star with this sort of hesitation, a lot of hesitation. This reality TV show called Teen Mom has a character or a person called Janelle. She used to be Evans, then she married. She has three children from three different fathers. The first child, Jace, was raised, now 11 years old, um, was raised by her mother because she was too busy doing drugs and she was 16 at the time. She's a teen mom. Her mother decided to take on the the heavy duty of raising the son. And then she proceeded to meet somebody online, a very volatile character. So first she was with this junkie. She had a baby with a junkie, with a drug addict. Then she had a baby, and I think he was in prison, a criminal drug addict. And then the second husband she chose had post trauma. He was a soldier. So first you say, wow, she made a soldier, and thank you for your duty and all that, an American soldier. But then apparently he had post traumatic stress. So he had anger issues. He would lash out. And finally, she found this. If this wasn't enough, the third man she found online, I believe, online is where you meet all these quality men, is a guy called David with whom she had a baby. Um, that was really, I mean, this guy takes the cake. He is like the Prince of Darkness. This guy shot her dog. Now, it's not a pit bull. There's no excuse for shooting an animal. Definitely not a dog. Definitely not the breed. This is a small toy breed called French Bulldog that, it's a kind of dog that does absolutely nothing. And then, surprise, surprise, the dog was very aggressive. Well, if you have dogs in an aggressive environment, the dogs take on the energy. So the dog became very nervous. So the solution that this genius of a man had was to shoot it, because shooting dogs is what they do. These are the kind of people that also go into the Capitol building and trash it and feel they have the right to march and scream and break into stores. So this is the kind of man she chose, this prince. And does he work? I don't think he even works. They're too busy buying hair dyes for their hair. I mean, I just can't even imagine dyeing the hair of a 2 year old or 11-year old, even. Like, she bought hair dye for the whole family. This is the kind of values they practice. Anyway, the book that she really needs to read, and I also, is Repetition. And this is what she has, um, is called a behavior that repeats itself. So let's talk about it from this book written by Doris Eliana Cohen, PhD. The body and its functions follow the same levels of repetitions that affect Shoshana. We want to see your lovely face. The body and its functions follow the same laws of repetition that affect human behavior. And I would say also dog behavior, because dogs really imitate us. For instance, when we experience a reaction of pain or phantom pain, our bodies have been conditioned to react in a particular way, whether the physical cells are there or not, because the conditioning has taken place in the brain. The brain engages in certain biochemical electrical responses that are repeatable and become habitual. Long after a finger has been lost in an accident, the nervous system continues to feel pain in that missing digit because it's repeating the pattern of responding to stimulus that is no longer there. It's called phantom, I think, phantom limb or something. Similarly, many postmenopausal women experience mood and hormonal changes that are comparable to those they had during their periods. The brain, through repetition and habit, continues to re experience the mood and hormonal changes that affected the body long ago, even though its physical state is different. In our own lives, we continue to react in the way we've been conditioned to react. As a result, we have core issues or themes of repetition in our lives. Common themes of repetition. We typically have at least three themes that become core issues in our lives, repeating themselves in our relationships with others at home, at work, at school, and in all sorts of situations. Here are some common ones, and I think you can recognize that this star of reality show, not only she, but a person called Ember as well, all of them actually have all these issues. But not all of them chose partners that are abusive. And some of them also are aware of it and therefore are able to step aside and put their kids first. So let's see what kind of problems are, what sort of common behaviors indicate this um, problem of repeating behaviors that are not good for us, counterproductive behavior. Feeling inadequate or not good enough, choosing what seems to be the wrong romantic partner, and this is bingo with this woman called oh, I forgot her name all of a sudden. Isn't it interesting? I guess I don't want to remember her name. This reality show star. She always chooses the wrong romantic partner. You see that also in Amber. Not all of them, because some of the teen moms, they have one bad choice when they're teenagers, and then they either go to therapy or they're more reflective, more intelligent, and they're able to take time to focus on their children and not to think about always finding another partner. So choosing what seems to be the wrong romantic partner, this is very easy to do when there are such places where you can meet the wrong romantic partner, such as Tinder or any of those online dating sites. This is the perfect place to meet the wrong romantic partner. And being abused emotionally, physically, or sexually, feeling victimized, which you could see how these girls, they always talk about how they're the victim. They don't talk about their children's pain. They're unable to see, in fact, other people's pain. They are the victim. Feeling helpless and powerless, fear of loss, commitment, intimacy, or being alone, feeling abandoned, lacking money, health, love, or friendship, being unacknowledged for one's gifts or contributions, feeling misunderstood by everyone, feeling unworthy, experiencing low self esteem, and that's, I think, the key, and being overlooked for advancement, being unheard and ignored, having personal boundaries violated and disrespected. And the dog shooting incident is typical. This girl, she is with a man that shot her dog, her pet. What sane human being would continue a relationship with a person who shot their dog? I mean, if I had an abusive partner and he shot my dog, I mean, I don't know how I would control myself not to shoot him, not to speak of continuing the relationship and making excuses for them. And this is called the mechanism of denial. And one more point, being angry, having difficulty managing anger. And we could see that in the teen mom stars such as Amber, especially. Very big anger issues. So this is a person that repeats behaviors. So this doctor says that she gives exercises to reflect. What situations have you felt similar? What situation do you feel victimized and powerless? How do you respond to situations in which you feel victimized? Now, all these questions are for people that actually want to reflect, but we repeat stories of our current and relevant past lives because we're trying to heal from past trauma. Trauma that leads to anger, fear, rage, or avoidance. Just as the cells in our brains are replicated, so do we repeat the stories of our lives. The continual reenactment of the same emotions make our behavior patterns more dramatic. The drama, like a nightmare, tugs at us strongly enough to make us pay attention and choose to change our reaction. So we are meant to repeat these patterns. So it's not like, oh, why do I always choose the wrong partner? Why do I always do self sabotaging behavior, even though I know it's going to lead me to the same results? Just like Amber is always getting into all these drama. She always falls into all these dramatical relationships. Actually, all the teen moms, except one or two, a lot of them repeat the patterns, re experience the traumas, because we need to learn the lessons by working through the emotional and psychological issues. The bodies will continue creating symptoms and worsen them in order to draw the conscious mind's attention to what our unconscious mind knows. So it's the universal law of conservation and energy. Why do young children yearn to hear the same story over and over again? When we offer variations to the story, they want it read exactly word for word as it has always been read. At the same time, research in child psychology shows that young children are continually seeking new experiences. One of their primary motivators is curiosity. This seemingly dichotomy presents a challenge. And one day, this therapist realized what the explanation could be. Our physical cells at birth, in a sense, presented a clean slate. Nothing has been written on them. Nothing has been learned except what went on in the mother's womb. Physiologically and neurologically, billions of brain cells that are fresh and new begin to develop, creating new connections with each other. They do so by communicating across synapses from one cell to the next in chains that affect millions of cells. Because of the continual repetition of the identical material over and over again, the cells create neural pathways in the brain. The communication between and among the cells, chemically and electrically, become the basis of defining and developing the brain. So, a So this is how the brain is built. The network is built. So it's easier to do what's been done before than to invent a new way to operate. This law is also evident in our dreams and our behavior as adults. The more neural pathways we create, the more the brain goes on automatic because it needs very little energy or effort to maintain that connection. If a thought or behavior conserves energy, it doesn't involve decision making or engage the upper regions of the brain, the frontal lobes. The brain always works as efficiently as possible, which is reflected in the repetitions that produce automatic habitual responses. The brain uses the habits that we've repeated hundreds and thousands of times, clicking into those behaviors swiftly, even when we're tired. We find ourselves automatically driving the correct route home without thinking about it. Children may seek new experiences, but that desire to learn is balanced by the brain having been wired to seek reinforcement of the neural connections it already has. The same old story is comforting, just as the same old route home is comforting. So, the conservation of energy enables us to use the rest of the brain and its function to attend to whatever crisis may arise, ensuring our survival. So, we're going to use the roads that we already know because they're familiar. Although the new ones might be more direct, we may be unsure to all the twists and turns, and we can't afford to get lost. So, we instantly and unconsciously make the decision to drive very fast on the familiar roads so that we can get to our child. When in crisis, the brain will seek to conserve energy. So,